Happy Thursday, Robert.
Happy Thursday.
How are you, sir?
Better Thursday.
Sarah.
As Cindy Brady would say.
Finja. Well, you know what they say, Daddy. Some things come in really big packages. Oh, gosh. Today is a special day. We're doing a first live stream, and we have some of the best movies ever made were released today. No exceptions.
Of course not.
Well, there's so much to get into, but of course, you're listening to the Podcastle and watching Set-Jetter Saturdays. Check out Robert, his website, setjetter.com. And today, I got to bring this up. Cobra. I didn't know. Cobra was released in 1986.
Yep. Are we waiting till 7 o'clock your time? We're just doing it.
Oh, I guess we're just doing it.
Okay. I was just
didn't realize it wasn't 7 yet.
It wasn't 7.
Okay. Well, you know what? If you're already tuned in, we'll just do 10 minutes of silence.
We will just sit here, meditation time. No, it's up to you.
No. Now we can keep going. It's cool.
Yeah.
I feel like the Cobra is one of those movies that has such a cult following. How was this received when it came out, Robert?
I remember I was 16 when it came out, so I remember I think it was received pretty well. It did pretty well. And Stallone was at, kind of the top of his game still. So I don't think I saw it till it came out in video, because it wasn't one of those I would go to the theater to see. Not quite my type of,
Well, hey, crime's a disease, and he was the cure.
It is funny. It's like one of those when I put it on Facebook that the people start quoting lines from it. And
immediately.
Yeah, immediately, and which was kind of fun, because I was like, oh, I feel like I need to probably revisit it more often than I do. Like one of my high school friends, like did you use excessive force? He's like, I used everything I had. Which you could just hear it. I didn't do a very good impression.
That was great. No, I loved it.
But yeah, and I think the line in the movie is, "You're the disease and I'm the cure." But
yeah,
the poster tagline, is "Crime is disease, meet the cure."
Very misleading. Much like Napoleon's, he came from nothing. He actually didn't. Came from nobility. He was actually pretty well to do.
But yeah, so.
Well, Cobra came out, and you and I you've done the locations, and when we went to Piru, we were doing locations for some other movies, but maybe we did Cobra that day, but Cobra was filmed, the gas station was there, right?
Yeah, so I don't know. Can we pull it up on Stream? Can you pull up your screen on StreamYard? I'm not sure.
Hey, this isn't Jurassic Park. There's going to be no glitches tonight, ladies and gentlemen. I'm pulling it up. Why I pulled that up was it... do you agree Cobra is his best outside of Rocky and Rambo movie, Stallone? I mean, Demolition Man's my favorite, but Cobra's up there.
That's true. I do love Demolition Man. Yeah, Cobra, I'm surprised that didn't kind of become franchised. You think that would be
I would think so. Okay, I'm sharing now. I never used this software before, folks, so every theme park's had their problems. Certainly the Pirates of the Caribbean ate the tourist. Can you see my screen?
I can. Yeah, I can now.
Flawless. Okay, this is Cobra from Robert's website.
1986. I was a wee 16-year-old, and were you even born yet? I don't know.
I didn't think you were born yet. I thought I was older than you. Robert moisturizes, so you can't tell. But this is the Cobra site. Do you want me to should I just go through it?
Well, we can kind of, yeah. So the opening scene takes place in the grocery store. I didn't go inside. I'm not sure how much. I think it was a King's grocery store way back when. So that's down in Redondo Beach, California. So if you're down that way, I think Winchell's Donuts is always a Winchell's Donuts.
It's a staple.
Yeah. So they never go away.
They don't.
Which is sometimes helpful finding locations, because like there's certain fast food franchises, they will never give it up a prime location. So
yeah, like the Burger King and Back to the Future.
Yeah, why would you give up a prime spot on
Wouldn't do it.
Victory Boulevard in Burbank? So
yeah, right, exactly. This one's always funny because you don't park cars here, so they didn't park cars then, right?
I don't know. I don't think so. No, they couldn't, because I was.
No, they didn't.
I remember being on Venice in like 5, and I don't think the cars went a little bit more freely as they do now. You get a little bit closer than you do now,
Right.
but yeah. So these apartments are actually it's now hotels, so you can actually, I almost stayed in the room that was his apartment on
Oh,
my
really?
last
This is a
last trip.
hotel
Yeah,
now?
yeah. So and there's been fans that have gone up there. Kind of, you can kind of see where he had his pizza and stuff like that. So yeah, if you go
Oh,
to
cool.
their website, you can kind of see what it looks like. And I think they kind of split it into two. But yeah, so if you want to stay on location, I almost did, but then I was like, yeah, I don't need to stay
Cobra's not the one that's reaching out to you.
in Venice Beach. I'm all about eating and lodging and filming locations. And why would you not why would you not go somewhere if it's not a location? But
Right, especially if you stayed at the Safari Inn in
oh,
Burbank, which I've seen in more and more movies. Like, it was in something I just watched, and, I forget what it was, but it was like, the first thing that came to mind was like, "Oh, Robert stayed there." Like,
I did, and it's exactly what you would think.
is it?
Yeah, I did there one night, one just to see. I drive by it
It was
600
Apollo
times.
13 is what it was in.
Oh, gotcha. So I
Yeah.
drive by it,
Yeah.
hundreds of times every year, and so I thought, oh, let me and they embrace they have posters up of everything that, and I'm sure they're fine with letting.
Oh, they have the movie posters, like, in
Yep,
the lobby or
yeah,
something?
yep. So they definitely embrace it, but
Oh,
I was
good.
just like, yeah, I think I was like, oh, it was kind of safari sheets and so forth, but yeah, but if you go
There's a
back up to
lion.
the Mugs Up coffee shop, so that was one of those. I don't know. I don't think I found until later
Which
or kind
coffee
of
shop? I'm
the
sorry.
you go past Venice right here at the next one.
Oh, got it, got it,
Yeah,
got
the
it,
Mugs Up.
okay.
Yeah, not exactly the best part of town, as I say, but it's
Oh,
the
yeah.
same shaped sign. If you notice that
Oh,
they
yeah,
held
it's like the little thought bubble.
yeah, the kind of now it's Stevens Gourmet Deli. As you know, the best in LA is right there. You can tell.
Of
Uh,
course. Well, obviously, they didn't if you're the best, you don't have to say anything. Oh, this is
no,
the actual building?
yeah. So that's the best. Uh, the best in LA right there. So looking for a good restaurant.
Oh,
I don't know
yeah,
if
well,
that's
of
actual
Stevens, I mean, they
actual
deliver.
actual crime tape, I think, on the
Oh gosh.
so
Wow.
sometimes these are you don't get out of the car.
No, that's one spot you're like, "You know what? Shoot this from the window."
Yeah. So
I love that. Okay, I
this
know where
is
this is.
yeah, I was just there not too long ago that so and this particular bridge I think has been used in Roller Boogie
The
and
net.
The Net and there's some other movie that I was just there for, but yeah, so
And it was used in, well, the end of the street, I think, was used in The Doors.
gotcha. Yeah, the Doors was shot around there, so and also here's an often used location, the diner.
Oh, yeah.
Most fans know this from Friday the 13th Part 5, but it's literally been used in hundreds of locations for decades. I mean,
Oh,
it showed
yeah.
up in the 70s. I saw in Bionic Woman, and so it's been
Whenever I
just
see this diner, only 2 words come to mind.
it's
It's
showtime.
showtime! Like,
You
what?
could use that bathroom if you
She's by
want.
herself. What is she doing?
It's what we did in the 80s,
Yeah,
Matthew.
apparently. But this, of course, is from Friday the 13th, part 5, and
Yep,
Cobra.
and Cobra. So, but yeah, they're on their way.
That's a great shot.
And here's a,
Oh, there it is.
we
We
didn't
were
take these
here.
pictures at the time, but yeah, we were here together.
Yes. It was also in War of the Worlds, which, if you've seen
Mhm.
that, they did such a great job with, the reverse shot was War of the Worlds, right?
Yeah, they were at I think at a restaurant, and then they go across the bridge they're on their way, I think, to the ferry or something like that. But
Yeah.
and I can't remember. We were on our trip together. We were there to do I think Sweet 16
Sweet
and some other
16,
movies.
The
Um,
Twilight Zone.
but yeah, so Piru has been used in many films, and it's worth the trip. It's like literally a 3 block town, or for
It's
the
like
most part.
I expect it to be a Twilight Zone episode where there's nothing in there, they're just facades because it's such a weird, cool town. There's, like, people that live there, but it doesn't have the feel there's no, like, nobody on the street, there's rarely any cars. It looks like the only thing I can describe it, I've only been there once, obviously, but it looks like a set. I mean,
Yeah,
it's
Matthew fell in
amazing.
love immediately
I did. I can't wait to go back.
Oh, and
Actually,
how
I would like to go back.
yeah, I knew you're always itching to go back. So, and they do
I
mention
am.
it in Silent Night, Deadly Night Part 3, I think. Yeah, they're
Oh
on their
yeah,
way to Pyru.
on the way to Pyru.
Yeah, so
Now this
the
is a great. Yeah, they're on the way. This is a great set piece, though. This is a facade, obviously, but
yeah, from what I
I
can tell,
believe it.
this was a facade they built. I don't think there was ever a motel there, from what I can tell, and especially since they kind of do a lot of damage. Uh, but uh, but yeah, so this is where the last act takes place, and
Yep.
everything kind of comes to here. I love 80s. The 80s were just great because they went so over the top
If you're gonna
in
do it over the top.
in their
That was.
violence, and this is also kind of one of those violent films. You're like, it's
Oh
like,
yeah.
poof, we think we now
No,
it's kind of
it's
gonna,
it's like a RoboCop. It's up there.
yeah, for sure. But
The violence in Cobra's so gratuitous and great. There, it's like nothing was off limits.
yeah,
You know.
so you can see, this road has kind of been built up a little bit, but as you kind of go through, and there's,
Yeah.
um, but
Here's you
yeah,
with Brian Thompson.
Brian Thompson. So he was down in, I think that was Kansas City or St. Joseph, Missouri, and
Oh.
I'm holding a Buffy picture. It looks like so.
Oh yeah. It's a great set.
Yeah,
And great page too, by the way. Great job.
yeah. I feel like I should probably give Cobra a rewatch. So I think I have the latest Blu-ray. But if
Oh,
have you
nice.
I guess have you seen it? I guess I don't know if we even talked about.
Cobra. Yeah.
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 Okay.
I saw Cobra's when early '90s a lot, and then didn't watch it in a while, and then watched it maybe 10 years ago, and it's been I watch it like every 2 years. I think the last time I watched it was last time we talked. We went to Pyru. I think that's when I
Mhm.
watched it because
Gotcha.
you
Yeah,
told
I
me
was like,
about
well,
it.
now you have to watch it. So,
Now you have to watch it.
yeah,
But yeah, Cobra's fun.
it is. I just talked to my best friend from college, and I can't remember who used to play Sylvester Stallone on Saturday Night Live, but they had this great all these celebrities, and I can't remember, it was so Sylvester Stallone and Betty Davis, and Betty Davis was really on her last. But I just remember the line is Sylvester looked at her, he's like, "If I hit you as hard as I could, your face would probably turn to dust." I don't think Saturday Night Live could do that anymore, anyway. So
No, they can't get
yeah,
away with it now.
yeah.
But yeah, Cobra's happy anniversary to Cobra that came out. Also came out was the worst sequel ever, the most disappointing, The Lost World. The sequel, also
I,
directed by Steven Spielberg, to Jurassic Park, the best movie ever.
yeah, I don't anymore. I used to really hate it, and then I'm like, now I'm wondering, there's probably worse sequels than The Lost
Yeah,
World. But at the time, it's hard. How do you follow up? For
it's true. You can't follow
classic.
up that.
And then I read the book beforehand, and I knew the
Oh,
book. I felt that, as now we kind of know the book. I think it was kind of rushed through because they said we need a sequel, but we want it based on a book, and so he kind of wrote a not so good book. I feel like the book
no.
is probably even worse than the movie, and they used pieces of the book. I'm not sure if they used the best pieces, but they thankfully left some of
Oh,
kind of the
yeah.
worst pieces out. But
Well,
yeah,
they
so
did use, I know in the book, they had a lot of the InGen facilities that they kind of incorporated into the movie, which was cool. But I know there was a lot more dinosaurs and there was like different sequences. Like I think maybe it was the first one. I know the
yeah,
pterodactyl sequence in the third one was originally in one of the first two scripts. I forget which one, but it was like
gotcha.
too much to do.
Yeah, and I don't think we just started the show, but I don't think did we say uh today's, well, this, I guess, our first, what, deep dive live, uh
Yes, yes.
and
No, we didn't because I'm a terrible host.
and what kind of host are you,
A
really?
terrible one.
But all these movies, these four movies we're talking about today, were all released on May 23rd, which is today.
This is Deep
So,
Dive Live.
and different years, of course. So May 23rd, 1997 was Jurassic Park: The Lost World. So
Yeah, which we both saw theatrically, and
yeah,
I was, I had really high hopes, as I'm sure did a lot of people, and I remember just being really disappointed. Like I was actually kind of angry. I'm like,
it's
what
gonna be
happened?
it's gonna be bigger and better, and the effects and
I
but
wonder. I wonder if part of that was to do that the dinosaurs in one really only had like 15 minutes of screen time total. Maybe that was a factor. Like we got to put more in because they're in basically the whole movie in two.
it's any sequel is kind of bigger, more. People are like, more we just wanted more dinosaurs. Nobody was like, let's have more Laura Dern. Nobody
Right.
really
Who they didn't get back because of the pay scale, right? Didn't they want more
Yeah,
money?
I don't know. It's probably yeah. It's funny because as they went through, they kind of pick and chose who was coming back at different times, and it was probably better that they all didn't come
Yeah.
back at the same time. But Jeff Goldblum was, and I guess the kids and Hammond came back in brief kind of cameos because they can. Hey, I I always forget the kids are in it until they come down the stairs like, hey, and then they're like, gotta go. We can't afford us for a whole movie. And bye, kids. Uh,
Yay!
and Jeff's like, that's fine. I have another kid I'd never talked about that will
Right.
show up.
Right. She just
Thankfully,
happened to conveniently be there.
thankfully, she's a gymnast.
And Sarah Harding.
Sarah.
Sarah. How many Sarahs are there?
Oh,
She's just hanging out in the woods for like 3
hey,
weeks.
hey, Nick. I was like, oh, God. I
Oh
I
gosh.
remember, you're watching a movie and you're like, bring peace, like this is gonna be great, and then you're like, oh, like you just
Oh,
sink in your seat, like this isn't the way it was supposed to be.
this isn't supposed to be it. They did
But
show
yeah,
the Stegosaurus, which was cool.
yeah. So, well, we can look at some of those locations.
Yeah, yeah.
Uh,
This is
yeah.
The Lost World, which, of course, today is May 23rd, and it came out. What year is that? What is that? 26.
97.
So, okay.
So, about 4 years after the original, I'm still in my 20s.
Still in my 20s. This is from setjetter.com. This is Robert's work, of course. Title shot and opening takes place. This is Kipukukai Beach in Kauai,
Good
Hawaii.
job. Good job. Yeah,
Beautiful. Thank you. Beautiful location. I've been on Kauai. It's beautiful. They
it's
picked a perfect spot.
they did, and this particular beach you can only get to by boat. So this is kind of, we looked at it from afar, but
Makes
this
sense. And
this
they
is
only got there by boat.
correct, as those rich people do. But so didn't make it down to the beach. So
No, but that's good you got that shot. And this was at Newilawili Harbor.
yep, and so this is like literally right. I have a feeling they shot part of like this right in the park. Like I took these shots right in the parking lot looking across. So if you turn
Oh,
around,
really?
you can, I think you can see the airport and all sorts of stuff. So it's movie magic, where they act
Oh,
like,
yeah.
you were kind of showing up to this remote island, or like what is the five deaths?
Right. The Cinco de Muertos.
Yeah,
And
the
Vince Vaughn's like the five deaths.
yeah,
Like he just
somebody should say,
spit that out.
you mean Hawaii?
You mean you mean
Also, no, people don't know Hawaii also means the five deaths.
no, right. The
Uh,
five
but
deaths.
they do that. So this shot, actually, it's weird. It kind of matches based on the fog.
Oh gosh, yeah.
But yeah, this is the spot where kind of all the
That's great.
trucks and stuff kind of come through. So I took
There's
that
the
when I was going to do
convoy.
an ATV tour. So we can move ahead when they're supposed to be in San Diego, and of course it's kind of Los Angeles area. So
Yeah.
there's so many trees that you cannot see this house, but
Oh
uh,
yeah.
it's kind of overgrown. But this,
Too
you can
many
see,
Jurassic too
yeah,
many
you
Lost World
you
fans.
you can see the lamp that from the
Oh
house in
yeah.
front of it still matches. So
Oh, very cool.
you can just go rip that off and get an authentic
Oh,
piece of.
you can have a souvenir to sell on eBay.
Yep.
Oh, you know
Also,
this place.
not San Diego, is downtown Burbank,
Yeah.
which is my home away from home. Movie World, if you saw that pass sign there, is no longer there. But
Oh.
that's where they had all the books and the great movie books. So
Oh, that's a shame.
Starbucks never leaves. So
Which is delicious, by the way.
yeah, I don't think I've had that. So they changed the name of the streets for some reason. I'm not sure,
They
but yeah,
changed it for the film, right?
yeah, of course. Like this has to be authentic San Diego,
Right.
as you know. But
San Diego Street, everybody.
But yeah, downtown Burbank. Gas station up in Granada Hills, and I just saw that
Interesting.
that building is to the left is gone. That they demolished it couple years ago. So
The
this
gas
snack
station
shop,
building?
yeah. So
Oh, really?
sorry, folks.
Sorry, folks. So
Can't.
there's no gas station there?
There's still a gas station, but that whole building is gone. And
Oh,
they put a
interesting.
little kind of they put a
Like
smaller
a
building in
kiosk.
kind of behind the camera where the camera is now. So,
Oh, I gotcha.
but
It's a great find though on that one.
yeah. So
Yeah, that's a good one.
yeah, I didn't go down to San Pedro where they shot the scenes of the ship coming in. with at top speed. And it's interesting. Some of
Of
my
course.
Facebook friend that was an extra in the film and was talking about shooting there, and Spielberg gave him some direction as an extra, which is not got to be cool, I'm
That's
sure.
amazing. Yeah.
But anyway, it's harder to get down to that San Pedro. I mean, some of those ship areas that they now that it's more gated off than it used to be to be able to kind of get down there. But
Yeah, yeah, right. And that's the scene where they deleted the scene where they explain how the raptors were the culprits, but that's how the T-Rex got free.
supposedly, because there is always weird, there's a hand that bit off, but it's also up in there's no way a T-Rex could get up there, and somehow the T-Rex is also locked back down into it's just it's messy.
Yeah, it is messy. Would have been an easy fix, but who
And
knows?
there's so many bad, because I know when they get the baby T-Rex, and then it's like, where is it? And then it comes crashing through. It's just like there's just bad lines, and just it's
Yeah,
just not.
where is it? Right, and the whole like dock crew and them waiting
Yeah.
there. It's like, yeah, you guys are all awake this time of night. It's very let's get them. Like it's an alien landing or
Yeah. Oh, that's
something.
right. Well, Injit's having a press conference at midnight or whatever. Like,
Right, right. Oh, that's right. Yeah,
yeah, like I don't think that would be the way, or
yeah. I
but
don't think that's happening. Um, but that's
sorry
the
to
Lost
rest.
World,
Yeah.
1997, and I also 1986 was um,
S- Same,
Poltergeist 2.
yeah, the other side, same day as Cobra. So you could go see a PG-13 movie and an R-rated movie. I went to the PG-13.
Did they both come out the same day?
Yeah, they did. So
Oh, it's amazing.
um
They're back.
I went to opening night. So
Oh,
I,
that's
I
amazing.
I had not seen the original Poltergeist in the theater. But
You were too
so
young.
no, I was probably old enough, but I was probably a little bit of a scaredy cat too. So but
Poltergeist 2, the other side. I'm
yeah,
sorry.
yeah, Podcast to the Other Side, I did see in the theater. So, because I was like, yeah, I'm ready for this, and it was a good, you knew watching it that it was not as good as the original,
Right, right. It
and
was still
then
scary. It still had some good moments to it.
yeah, and we were in kind of true '80s form at this point. So,
Yeah,
but yeah, so we can check out some of those locations.
this is a great entry of yours. We've talked about this before, which is cool. Um, this was shot of 10 weeks at MGM's Culver Studios. Stages 27 and 30. Look at Robert. He knows. This is in Chatsworth, this
Yeah,
area. We've
so
driven through here, you and I.
yeah, we have. I don't think we've been to this location, but you can kind of see the windy street looks about the same.
Yeah, it
And as they
does.
go through, these are kind of the I didn't get very good screen. This was you probably can't. You can kind of tell it was a super rainy day, so I was not
Oh, yeah.
getting out of the car.
It is rainy.
But these are the houses that are supposedly at Cuesta Verde that have been abandoned as they kind of go through.
Because in the movie, they were like sequestered to leave.
Well, I think people just left. I can't remember. So, and so the original house was up in Simi Valley, and then they needed to kind of have an empty plot, kind of for where the current house would have been, or the old house would have been located. So,
Okay.
and we'll return to this location kind of near the end, but we can move ahead to Grandma Jess's house. So,
I'm
um,
sorry, is that this one?
yep. And so this was one had not been found until I found it, because what I had to do is years ago they had a press book, and the press book mentioned Altadena. So everything else was
Oh,
shot elsewhere, and so I thought, oh, here's my clue, and so kind of went street by street, and I could see the mountain a bit behind, so I kind of knew which direction to look, and so this is how I found Grandma
so you were
Jess's
the first one to
house.
find this.
Yes, and so
Carol Ann.
we actually went up. You'll see some pictures later, up on the porch and everything, because we weren't scared. So I had not found the mall up until someone had started talking to
Oh, yeah.
Oliver Robbins, who played Robbie, who kind of told him where it was. And so this is not too far from you in Encino.
This is where I
Encino
saw
Mall.
Napoleon.
Yeah. So right, it has you can tell. Obviously, they did some updates, but you can kind of
Yeah.
still see the kind of same layout of the mall.
Yeah,
So
yeah. And this is kind of a cool hidden location. I've always wondered why there didn't do more filming there, because it's like never crowded and it's always like clean, and it's just
yeah.
it's quiet. You're sheltered from the boulevard. It's on the south
Mhm.
side. So you can't really ever hear traffic here.
Yeah,
It's like a
I had
pretty cool spot.
lovely brunch down in the courtyard. I can't
Oh
remember what
yeah,
the name of the restaurant was, but yeah, so
yeah, very
it's
nice.
good. So, but yeah, here's the porch of Grandma Jess's house. We
Oh,
weren't
you got up here.
we weren't
Nice.
we weren't afraid. We just like I
Of
was with
course not.
a friend that he was always like, yeah, let's just do it. And like I said, nobody's been to this house
Just
before,
do
so
it.
so we thought, yeah, let's check it out. So
Hey, when you're moonshot, first time, like do what you can.
yeah.
God is in his holy temple.
Oh, yeah, I
Those
think
guys.
that tree is gone. But
Oh,
obviously it looks like the same fence. And yeah, this house is really kind of not too much has changed over the years.
this is also in
Yeah, so this is Grandma Justice's house, Altadena.
okay, Altadena. That's what I
Yeah,
mean. Okay,
yeah.
cool, cool. It's a great shot. It's before the Freelings take off yet again.
And then we return down to Chatsworth, and so in the background, that kind of farm out is not too far from Spawn Ranch.
Oh yeah, of course.
But as you kind of see, and if we go to kind of this, it's now a road, but this kind of was kind of empty spot where the
Oh,
old house was supposed to be, where they kind of went down and they found a whole nother layer under the house where
oh
they
yeah, yeah.
continue to add to the story and
Right.
so forth. But yeah, they
They
really
did a
they're
great job with the set though, making
yeah.
this look just wiped out.
Maybe that's what Chatsworth looked like back then.
Right. There's no set dressing. That was it.
That was it in
That
Chatsworth,
was the
people.
valley. That was the porn capital in the
But
80s.
if you see some behind the scenes pictures, they built some fake facades or kind of partial facades of the house, so it looked like it was in between houses, but
Oh,
there was no
okay.
house there. So
Interesting. Interesting. And this is you with Oliver Robbins.
yeah, so he was a treat. I was wearing my Poltergeist 2 shirt, and he was
That's
wearing.
a great
I
shirt.
think I bought that clown shirt from him because I really liked it so much. He has a Poltergeist clown shirt. So,
Oh, cool.
but yeah,
When I saw Poltergeist 2, it was scared. I was younger, and
yeah.
it did the job for me. The whole you're on the other side, but you can still hear and like, yeah, it was creepy. But obviously it doesn't hold a candle to the first one.
No, and it was just like by that time we were mid '80s, and we got the pastels out, and it
Yeah.
wasn't quite the same. And I feel like they did probably there was a line, I don't know if they filmed it or it was in the original script. They talked about the other Dana, and the actress who played her was killed shortly after the first, but they don't even mention her, in the film. I think, and they were supposed to say she was off to
Right.
college or something like that. So, which I get, yeah, but I feel like
It was
one,
really sad.
you just need to add one line to explain why she wasn't there. But
I agree. Just throw it in there. And unlike Poltergeist 3, which was filmed pretty much entirely at the John Hancock Center in Chicago, they don't say Carol Ann 450 times.
no, quite a bit. Maybe in the editing room they're like, we're saying Carol Ann too much, so
That
let's take it down by 50%. But
let's take it down by 50%.
but
Also released. Oh, go ahead. Were you gonna say
I was gonna
something?
say, but as much as sometimes they kind of diss Poltergeist too, Reverend Kane, he made such. I mean, people remember him. He's iconic, and I feel people kind of retcon him into the original, as because he
Oh yeah.
in just this movie alone, obviously, and he had passed away, so he wasn't in Poltergeist 3, or was kind of played by somebody else with makeup. But his
Right.
uh
Right.
his look and demeanor, and people singing his song, and I mean,
Yeah. His
let
song.
me in,
Let me in. Oh, I want to watch it now.
yeah.
Also on this day was Indiana Jones and the Temple of Doom, released in 1984.
Oh yeah.
Which don't you think Temple of Doom always gets an unfair rap? Like, obviously, it's not as good as Raiders of the Lost Ark, but like, what is? That's a perfect movie.
So I remember also seeing that in the theater.
Oh,
I think
cool.
with my dad.
Oh, me too. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, Last Crusade.
Oh, psh, I'm kidding.
Yeah, I was only 3 when Temple Doom came out, so it would have been abuse if I
It was.
saw that.
I remember it was a strange because it starts off with the musical number, and I was like, "What?"
Yeah,
As a
James Bond.
14, old, and like expecting Raiders Part 2, I was like, "What is this real?" Like, and she's
Yeah,
playing directly to the camera, and she stumbles, and I'm like, "Is that intentional?" It was like it was kind of a weird start. It kind of threw me off, and I do remember even in the theater
yeah.
there were some groans as some of the effects, like when they come out on the raft.
Because they're trying to be like a James Bond.
Yeah, and remember the people are like started chuckling. I'm like, oh, it's not as even back then, it's like, oh, it's not as authentic, like as gritty, I should say, as
Yeah,
the first
right.
Rangers of the Lost Ark. And then, of course, it got criticized for being too dark for
It
kind of
did, yeah, with the whole
the, the,
heart eating thing.
the themes. But I was fine with it. But yeah, so that it's kind of grown on me over the years. And
Me too. I'm
yeah,
just posting that we're live now. Something I forgot to do. We'll make a note
oh
for next time. Nobody knows we're here.
yeah, people are like,
But
great,
obviously
and
this will be
the
saved and
end.
uploaded.
Yes,
But
end scene.
end scene. But yeah, Temple of Doom is darker, but there's that cool like shot where they're looking down. There's all the alligators and or crocodiles and
You
like
mean the black blobs of?
it,
Just kidding.
right, right. It gave us the line like, "We're not flying, we're falling,"
Oh,
and
we're
it's like
going.
like it has some gems.
I
But
still did. You call him Dr. Jones.
you,
Dr. Jones. Dr.
Dr.
Jones.
Johns, do you like to Raiders of the Lost Ark more than Last Crusade, or what's your
Yes.
thoughts?
Yes. Oh, for sure. So,
Because those movies are classics, and I always say this when Raiders of the Lost Ark comes up, and I'll say it again. Those were real explosions in there, and that's like they took hours and days to set up that shot. Those aren't CGI. Like I just rewatched Apocalypse Now last night, and all those helicopters flying and those explosions that took 18 months to make that movie, and it's just you appreciate it so much more because it looks real, and you're like, they did that. That Nazi plane blew up wherever they filmed it. But
yes. And I think when we look back at movies like that and some of the James Bonds, when you see these stunts, ignoring some of the blue screen when Roger Moore would show up, or but you knew it was more tense because you knew it was somebody who's actually you knew it wasn't
right there,
wasn't the actual actor was stunt people, but you knew it was actually happening. And so
right?
I remember Goldeneye, which was like when you knew when jumping off, kind of the dam, like that was actual, that was a person, and I was like, oh, that made me want to see the movie. And then like
Oh
two
yeah,
movies later, we have him blue screen with the with
yeah.
his surfing and stuff like that. I was like,
I know. Die Another Day. He went
yeah, I was
in
like,
North Korea, and you're like,
oh, I was like, oh no. But I think that's kind of what you realize. Oh, they had to do that, or for the most part, the Long Bridge in Indiana Jones and
yeah,
Temple of Doom. It's
perfect.
iconic shots, but
Yeah,
they built that, and the bridge actually did snap in half. Now, granted, it was mannequins and
right.
some stunt people and so forth, but for the most part, like, oh, they actually had to do that. And
They had to do that,
yeah,
and the bugs and everything. Like those were real insects that they had on set.
yeah,
It's
they
just yeah,
probably wouldn't do that again.
no, no. Hey, and that's where Kate met Spielberg, right? Wasn't that their blossom?
Yeah, so I don't know if that's good, or I mean, it's great. They
Good
fell in
for
love,
her.
but
She
I
never had to
also,
do another movie again.
but I was like, I'm not quite sure. Where was Spielberg already married or with Amy Irving at the time? I'm not quite sure, but
I did
yeah,
look at that up once, and there was some
yeah,
lapsing of times
that's
that
what
was
I thought.
interesting.
But yeah, and she gets a lot of, because they wanted something kind of not quite opposite of Karen Allen, and so that's why kind of they had more of the blonde damsel in distress, and so there's a lot of
Yeah,
screaming happening. But
right.
yeah, so, and we've talked before. I'm like, I think they missed out on this last Indiana Jones, the Dial of Destiny. It's like,
Yeah,
one, it was atrocious in many ways, but I'm like, oh, this was the perfect time to bring Short Round back. That now you have an
perfect.
Oscar-winning actor, and it could have been that would have been more meaningful than
It would have been such a tie-in. It would have been
anything. Yeah,
like in Jurassic World Dominion, bringing in the kid from the
yeah,
first one. It's like looks like a big turkey. Like instead of that, the one guy in there, it's like
yeah,
put the kid back. Come on, like
yeah.
he's the perfect age. And
And not that I would wish this, but can you imagine if instead of going to the boat, who's the actor that had the boat?
the boat in Temple of
Uh,
Doom.
no, in Dial of Destiny.
Oh,
His name
the
just
guy
literally escaping me. The guy, yeah.
where
But I
they
was
went
like,
under. They saw the Aegean shipwreck.
yeah, yeah.
I
So
love
like,
that scene.
and that he ends up getting killed, and you're like, oh, sad, like, and not that I want Short Round again, but can you imagine what if that would be a
That
visit
would have been it.
that would have like put him on.
And
I,
then
I
and then
yeah,
James Bond from Pierce Brosnan from Die Another Day surfs in, and they're like, wrong movie.
they might as well had him surf in at that point with some of the other
It's our friend with the expensive acne.
uh that, and what was the one right before that with the Shia LaBeouf one? I was like,
Oh, Kingdom of the Crystal Skull.
yeah, which
Just rewatch that. Didn't put that on what you've been watching
how
lately.
yeah, we didn't want to admit
Notice
it.
that one never surfaced.
There's moments in
It's
that
not
you're
good,
like
Robert.
you want to give that a chance, but I was just like,
I do.
you
It's
do,
canon.
but it just doesn't quite characters aren't the same, and
Not the
then
same.
there's some goofy stuff that happens with, like, at the end where they go to the thing and then people start coming out of the ceilings or whatever. I'm like, were they just waiting there for years for somebody to,
What were they do?
you
Were they
know?
just hanging out?
Yeah, these weren't walls that went back. They're breaking through the ceilings and stuff like that because they're like, oh, somebody's here, and like, it was like, what? How long were
How
you
did that
guys
happen?
waiting? What were you doing?
These are questions I think
Yeah,
of. Like Children of the Corn. How would they sustain themselves if they don't repopulate?
yeah. Well, how do they not age?
How do they not 3 years?
Yeah.
Uh, Another episode of Deep Dive Live is going to have to be dedicated to Children of the Corn. But anyway, so yeah, Temple of Doom came out today, and also on this date, May 23rd, in 1997, was Addicted to Love,
Yes,
classic rom-com. It's Meg
I
Ryan and
Matthew Broderick.
Matthew Broderick.
And I am, and Kelly Preston. So
Oh,
I
love her.
obviously I am not a rom-com fan, but and I'm not a Meg Ryan fan, but
I'm
I will
not
say
either.
I saw this in the theater and she endeared me
She's
uh,
great.
in this particular role. So she it was a slightly out of character for her at the time, and I
Yeah,
haven't rewatched it in a while. But I remember this film kind of took me a little bit more than
she
I
brings it,
thought. Yeah,
and yeah, Kelly Preston's adorable in there. And this was a kind of a good change of pace. What you said from Meg Ryan, it was a little out of character, and it felt fresh, and it was funny, and it's just a good movie. It's
yeah,
what I could see like Sandra Bullock being in something like that in
yeah.
1997. It's like a different feel. It's cool.
But yeah, maybe
It's no
she
The
lost
Net,
out to
but
that.
it's up
Yeah,
there.
well,
Let's be honest.
what could be the net? Come on.
Pizza. But yeah, this
She's
is a good movie. I haven't seen this in a while, but I'm gonna put this on my list to rewatch. This
Yeah.
is good.
It might be a little too stalky now for current times, but
A little bit.
and even then, I remember it was a little bit like, oh, they're going a little too far, but it's for love.
It's for love, and they're addicted to it. All
Yeah.
right.
So yeah,
Good soundtrack too.
absolutely. So
And finally, we have this is one that I love talking about with you, Robert. The Shining, which I'm so stupid. I always feel like this was a October release, but it's not.
it
It,
feels like it.
it
So
feels like it, but
yeah,
this came out in 1980, and this is Stanley Kubrick's and Stephen King's colliding masterpiece, for better or for worse. Um, as you all know, or if you don't know, there's college courses on The Shining. There is so much detail and hidden Easter eggs and meanings in this, based on, I think this was Stephen King's second book, like major novel. I love this movie, and what do you think?
yeah. So I didn't see it till obviously I was 10 at the time, and I remember hearing about it and seeing
Nice.
previews, and I was a little confused what the movie was about because I'd see little commercials and whatever, and I thought it'd take place in some little snowy village because I would just see a little boy running and stuff in the village by the lamps, and now I know he's running by the hotel, but it doesn't give too much away, so I didn't quite know what was going on, and then uh,
Yeah,
and as I got older and as a teen and kind of going to horror movies, this movie is like it was too slow for me, and I'm like, nothing happened. And as I became an adult, I kind of got more and more into it. So, and it's one of those
it's
that
perfect.
I have now. I think I've only seen it in the theater once. There was a special screening, and it was as
The
many times
Shining Film Festival, weren't you there once,
I
or
was
the
not.
Overlook Film
I have
Festival?
not been to the Overlook Film Festival, but I
Okay.
did see a screening when I went actually to the hotel, which we can talk
Oh, right. That's what I'm
about.
thinking of. That's so
Yeah,
cool.
but I did
At
see
at
it.
the Overlook.
Yep, at the Alamo when I saw the screening. It was a different experience it was a different audience experience of there's a lot more intentional laughs, I should say, that uh,
Okay.
when the doctor
Like
comes to,
when?
so the one I remember most is when the doctor comes to visit. So Danny has his episode, and the doctor is like, do you remember,
Yeah.
and then Wendy is chain smoking as you do in front of kids and in
I
front of
always thought
doctors.
that. Yeah,
Yeah,
he might have hit him once.
yeah. um and I can't remember exactly, but there was this, where Shelley Duvall is like over explaining. It's like, it's what you do, like, and a thousand times or whatever. And I got back to the doctor who just has this dead and no lines at all,
No,
and
he's
people
great.
just bust out laughing because she's just just
Oh yeah.
staring back at her like, are you kidding me?
Yeah.
And when you watch it as whatever, you just
No.
move on, whatever. And now it's one of the funniest
It,
non-verbal reaction shots that you can have. But
it's
even as many
funny.
times as I seen it, even in the big screen, because then you keep noticing little things that I had never noticed
Yeah.
before in my 200 other viewings that I've seen of this movie. But
I
anyway.
can't watch the movie without thinking Shelley Duvall is the killer now because somebody did a whole like
Mm.
hour-long video on backing up their claim, and I was like, no, that actually makes perfect sense. So it kind of ruined it for me, but I just it's such a good movie. It's a nostalgic movie too. It's a dark movie, but you're like, oh, I remember this part, and oh, this is cool, and would be a lovely place if it wasn't for the ghosts.
Yeah. So,
You know?
or suppose a ghost, unless it's just Shelley ruining it all. But I'm super jealous. My friend, so Shelley Duvall is on Instagram, and she had something that she just, if you liked her post or comment on it, and then he won a signed Blu-ray of Popeye from her because she chose his comment or something like that. I was like,
Sweet
oh,
heaven, sweet
sweet
heaven. That'll stay in your
God
your
must
head.
love. Yes,
So
yeah,
your friend won the DVD
yeah,
with
and she
her
signed it
autograph?
for him and stuff like that. So we're just like, well, that's fine, and
That is fun.
not jealous at all.
No, of course not. She's coming out with a documentary soon, right?
I think I saw something about that. Yeah. So, but hopefully she's
Hopefully
doing
she's
okay.
okay.
So, and obviously, as you know, Stanley was not kind to her on this
He was a
shoot.
dick.
But yeah.
He was going to do Napoleon, and
Ooh.
yeah, exactly. Ridley Scott's script, they kept 80% of what his set ideas in there, but he says the rest was made up. But I didn't know that was based on a Kubrick script. And then last year, I was reading Napoleon trivia today, as you do. Last year,
As
Spielberg,
Matthew does.
as you do, Spielberg said in an interview in 2023 he's been working on Kubrick's Napoleon series since 2013. It's still in development. I don't know if Ridley Scott
Hmm.
blew the top off and it's even going to happen now, but Kubrick, very interesting when you look at the stuff he chose to do and did not choose to do. Like instead of Napoleon, he did Barry Lyndon instead. Napoleon was going to be that movie,
Gotcha.
and then he did that. So very interesting choices. But yeah, he did ride Shelley Duvall pretty harshly
Yeah.
in that.
So, and, but anyway, but yeah, so we can look at, so there's really not too many locations, but we
Yeah,
can kind of
let's pull him up.
look at what I got. So obviously it was shot mostly in the studios in England, but they had a
Of course.
few establishing shots over the years. So and so this opening, I didn't have any from the opening drive, but my parents have taken this particular drive, which
Oh, really?
I remember seeing pictures. I'm like, I know that's the winding road to The Shining. But
Were your parents there for The Shining or for vacation?
no, they were on vacation. I can't remember if this one was in Colorado. I can't remember this particular road, but
Oh, yeah.
you recognize as the kind of, I was like, oh, I recognize that landscape immediately. So
The Stanley.
so several years ago, I stayed at the Timberline Lodge,
Love it.
which you can kind of see. I was lucky that I had. So when I first got there, it was sunny, and then it had a snowstorm. So this was all in the same 24 hours. So I kind of lucked out that I
Really?
had
What
great.
month were you there?
I think it was December. It was December.
So
Yeah.
it is
So
open for the winter time.
yeah, it is, and there was lots of skiing
Oh,
um, and they just had a fire there a few months ago. So but I think everything's okay.
oh
They didn't
good.
get damaged. So they have built out the front, so that kind of opening and stuff like that. But
Oh,
so
yeah.
some of the exterior shots, just a few here. If you
It doesn't look that big. I mean,
no,
it's big,
yeah,
but it's
like
not.
that shot
There's
you
no
have right.
ballroom in there.
Yeah, right now you can see that's a helicopter shot. So Off to
Oh,
the right should be the maze, and obviously it's not there in real life at all.
yeah, right. But it's amazing that the forced perspective.
Yeah, so you buy it. So
Oh, you
and
got the
then
apartment. I don't remember
yeah,
you doing this.
yeah. So this is down in Boulder, Colorado. So this was a day. If
Love
Nick is
Boulder.
listening, I was with him. He lives outside of Denver, and so I was. If you can't tell by the picture, I have strep throat. So I am not.
Oh no.
I'm not doing well on this day, but
Damn,
you
you're a
you
trooper.
you trudge on, and so I tried to. You can tell it's the same spot, but it has a lot more foliage and trees.
Yeah.
But
You must have been one of the first people to do this. I've never seen this location
I
for
think I was
The
the first
Shining.
person to visit. I think the location might have been established, or it might have said a kind of a general location, but I don't know if anybody actually had been out there. And now people
Did a great job.
have been out there.
Strep
So
throat
same
Robert
thing,
is what they call him.
same kind of establishing shot. So um,
Oh yeah.
I took a picture of the snowcat because it just reminded me of the
Oh, that's so cool that they have one.
yeah.
I
So
mean, they need to,
yeah.
but like,
So this is, the bottom shot, and the next, if you click to the right. Yeah. So bottom shot is actually that's on the set, but you can kind of see how it compared to a real life snowy shot
oh
at
yeah,
the
great
time. So
job.
yeah, they did a good job kind of rebuilding. When you talk about that, they
Yeah.
would never build that huge facade anymore.
No, it would be
Yeah.
CGI
Yeah.
or they more likely would just fake it.
Yep. So
Oh, cool. Very cool. The twins.
come play with us forever and ever.
And
Yeah. So
Eva.
you have to have them sign that, of course. So
Well, of course.
yeah. And there's
I,
little
I think
Danny
we
Lloyd.
should, if we ever see them at a Hollywood show, I'd be like, "Can you sign, one from the movie?" And they're like, "What? The Shining?" I'm like, "Shining." No, I'd never
Oh,
seen that.
tell
Um,
me more. What is this? Yeah.
the other one, please. Oh, it's so great. You know what? When I first saw The Shining, it was because I saw Twister in the movie theater, and The Shining was in there. I remember asking my dad, like, "What movie is that playing?" And they're like, "That's The Shining with Jack Nicholson." And I'm like, "Can I rent that from Blockbuster?" And they're like, "Yeah." And I rented it, and I was like, "This is a great movie." And I like didn't know, but it was like Twister that brought me into The
Yeah.
Shining.
Interesting.
Yeah.
So a couple of the actors. So this is from my stay. So they
Is that
had
a
a
real prop?
yeah. So that's at the front desk, kind of a here's Johnny's axe. It's not a prop, but
But
there's
it's there.
yeah, it's there for you to take pictures. And so at the screening they had it kind of everything kind of built up so you can kind of see those. They had all working at Play Makes Jack a Dull Boy pictures.
Can
Um,
you read the script for me?
I wish I could.
Okay.
Yes.
All work, no play. Oh,
A
here it is.
typewriter setup and so forth.
This is
So
in the hotel?
yeah, so this is they set up for the special screening of The Shining, so
Okay.
you could actually watch The Shining in not the hotel where they shot, but the
I'm
exterior stuff.
photoshopping this, by the way, into a shark's mouth for the poster art, like
Gotcha.
Jaws.
You do what you
Yeah.
have to do.
That's
So,
perfect.
um,
Oh, look at this.
these are the different drinks
Oh,
that they have, and then they had I think in the next picture an actual Lloyd
oh,
as the bartender that night. So
so good.
this is I think it's Myers Museum. So they did a great job of
Great job.
adding these little touches, and then
Well, Grady
uh
was there too, and
yeah.
I heard he had his name tag on the wrong side,
uh,
but he had to be corrected.
I knew
So
you were waiting. I was waiting for you to say that line. So,
I can't resist.
so you can see they have kind of the balloons. So if you remember the movie when they kind of show the party, they had the same balloons and tinsel and stuff like that. So this
I
is
don't
when
remember that, but I
yeah.
remember
So
the party. Yeah.
this is one of the ballrooms in there, and this is watching The
Oh,
Shining
amazing.
at the
Now,
place.
what year
So
did you go here?
2019. So it was right
Oh,
before. I felt like I got early COVID. So you can see me. So
oh, really?
these
Oh,
people were
there's the
dressed
shirt.
up. Yeah. So this is me and what I'm also wearing tonight. So I kind of went as little Danny
Yes.
Lloyd. And after the movie, uh,
Wait, I got to scroll over to
yeah,
you. Are you wearing that right now?
I am wearing that right now. Yeah. So
Oh, perfect. Because he faked the moon landing, of
yeah,
course.
of course. So there's a lot of people that dressed up, and so uh, these
That's
people
so
after
cool.
after the screening, we were kind of running around having drinks and so forth, and these people were great. I mean, when they dressed up, the gal that dressed up as Shelley Duvall had not seen the movie until that night,
Maybe do some homework.
but she put together whatever, and those are fake bangs that she had. I mean, she went all out for it.
Really?
Yeah, so she
Good
did a
for
good
her.
she did a good job. I was
Good
impressed. So,
job.
so that was supposed to be a little family portrait, and then these two gals dressed up as twins. So
And this is the actual interior of the
yeah, so this is
hotel.
what the interior looks like. So
Cool.
obviously, Their
Yeah.
interiors for the movie was kind of based, obviously, with studio, but based on a different hotel.
Based on the one
Um,
in Yosemite.
yeah, but this is what the actual hotel looks like. And
No,
they had a little
that's right.
tricycle. So there's another fan. And if you look carefully, you can see the twins in the background.
Oh
So,
yeah.
and this is probably like 1 a.m. And so we were kind of continuing to goof around.
Perfect. Oh, that's so much fun.
Yeah, but
Oh, that's exciting.
and
And
there
you
we are.
stayed there just one night? Perfect.
I think I stayed there a couple nights because I went early because I wanted to kind of get some different shots.
Yeah.
But yeah, there we all are as another family
I got to
photo.
get up there. I
Yeah.
have family up in Oregon that I haven't been to yet. I got to get up there.
It's well worth it. So,
It's worth it, right?
and then I don't think I did put a picture, but I did take a picture of the room. I should have asked for that room, but in the movie is at 237, but in the book it was something else. So,
Oh, right.
yeah. So I took a picture by that room, and so there's
Perfect.
me as cold.
For effect, Robert did stay out there for 5 hours, just
Yeah.
getting the right amount of frost.
Trying to do that. So
Have you been to the Stanley Hotel in Colorado?
I have not. So that's kind of on my list, and that's where Mick Garris had shot the second Shining movie. Kind of,
Right. Yeah.
I'm going to call it remake, but retelling. So, but a lot of people do, and also, it's also known for Dumb and Dumber and a couple other movies that were shot there.
Right. Yeah.
You know, but
Like the Hooters.
but yeah. So next time I'm in Colorado, I could pop up there. So
Yeah. It's I'm long overdue to go to Colorado too. It's just I would live there if I could. It's just such a great state.
it is nice. So I did bring out some Shining stuff since it was, and actually I should start with my bobbleheads that I have.
Oh, the twins. Oh, that is so cool. So what are they on? Is that just
it's kind of a platform of some sort.
there's an axe.
Yeah, so there's an axe. I can't remember who made it and so forth. And so they got the carpet and everything. So I actually have
so
a
cool.
Shining closet. So my closet, my bedroom has red rum on it.
Red
And actually,
rum.
because I built out this basement, so that particular door looks different than all these other doors because it have to be authentic.
Hey,
And
you
they
do
were
things
like,
right.
yeah. And when you open the door, there's shining carpet in the closet, and then there's one corner that looks like Jack is coming through with the axe. So
That's so amazing. That is so cool.
and that closet actually goes to a hidden crawl space, which is painted blood red for the Amityville Horror as the Red Room. So
Get out. So great.
but yeah, so
It scares me thinking about that in Amityville Horror. That's one creepy basement.
That did scare me as a youngin. So this is the this huge it's like multiple books, and so I think we can still buy it. I can't remember how many we made. It was a little expensive, I guess I should say, but I'm such a Shining fan. It's like, oh, well, I have to.
I have to.
It. So
Well,
probably, and it's gonna be a little hard to show, but this is the scrapbook. So it's kind of made to look like the one used in the film. But
so cool.
You can see how many pages it is.
Damn.
And it is like super
Looks
heavy.
pricey.
But they have such great behind the scenes pictures.
I love that.
Of them filming.
Have you watched the documentary on The Shining?
Which one? Like 237 and
not 237. The one with
by his daughter.
Exactly.
Yes, I have. So
pretty good, right?
It's weird to me that seeing like that particular the images are so iconic that it's strange to me to see them behind the scenes because I've in my mind it's still a little bit real,
Yeah. Good point.
Yeah,
I agree.
One of my favorite parts of this book is there are some deleted scenes, and so this is from the original ending with her in the hospital.
Oh wow! Yeah, because she was originally supposed to be, she's traumatized.
Yeah. So they had this whole ending, and so there's a lot of great shots of him visiting her in the hospital.
Oh, that's cool.
And then, and I think Danny's
that is cool.
Yeah, Danny's in the hallway. I don't know if there's a picture, but
Danny. Oh, here he is.
And
didn't know he was filming a horror movie when they made it.
And then he has the tennis ball.
Oh, perfect.
So the actual film from this has never surfaced. I don't know if it even exists anymore, but it would be interesting to kind of see.
You would think that it would. There'd be some kind of archived release.
Yeah. So this is, I don't know how many pounds this is.
It looks hefty.
So, they also have, and I have not gone through this, the entire script with notations and pictures and so forth. So
Oh wow.
it is like just a treasure trove of
Oh, that's so exciting.
different items and stuff like that. So if you are a Shining fan, it is expensive, but I thought there's nothing
That's so great.
quite like it. So
Oh, that's so great.
so they have a few other books as well. So
Did you get did you buy that online? Like, was that a
yep, yep.
limited edition? Can
It
people
is
get that?
limited. I'm not sure how many they made, but it
Yeah.
is limited. It is expensive. They have things that they made, I think, during this
Oh
for the
wow.
cast and crew, and then they have sketchbooks as they were kind of designing the hotel.
Oh, that is so cool.
And I think they have a whole nother book that is for different posters and
Oh, that's
logos
amazing.
that they were kind of coming up with. And then, as you can see, they kind of get closer to the
Oh, perfect.
original
Yeah, it's so
version.
iconic.
Yeah,
You watch that, and you see that, and every time you watch The Shining, you always seem to learn
yeah,
something else. I don't know about you, but it kind of takes you back
it
there.
does. So these are
What is that?
copies of the
Script?
pages, all the pages.
Oh,
So these are actual, I think, copies of what she was flipping through in the film. So
you flip it very well right
yeah,
now.
so I
Creepy.
try to be careful with these. So
Yeah,
I
of
actually,
course.
it is one of those I usually wear with white gloves because I'm like, I don't want to mess with
I can't blame you. No,
with
things like
this. So
that,
yeah,
once in a blue moon. Thankfully, the one prized possession I have, this Planes, Trains, and Automobile script, has coffee and crap all over it. I'm like, I can't really add anything to this, but I
no,
get
it's
it. You
just
want to
yeah,
you want to preserve. It's got to be
yeah.
pristine.
And then I haven't even cracked this. This is a Making of
What is
Shining
that?
book, 900 pages,
Oh my gosh.
and
I love the red.
yeah, and so it's pictures and everything. So I'm not even
Oh,
quite
that's
sure.
cool.
Like I feel like this would be you should spend a week in the hotel
Oh yeah. Oh
and
yeah.
just read all this. So part of me is like, this is yeah, yeah. Like I said, I don't even know where to begin or at what point I need to kind of tackle this because there's like so much here. So I'm pretty sure everything you'd ever want to know about Shining are in these books and so forth. So,
Yeah.
but yeah, so that's
Absolutely.
where
That's exciting.
I'd intended, I think, at one point to take a couple weeks off at Christmas and just deep dive into that, but
Just
obviously
do that.
I have not yet. So
I'm about to deep dive into Aliens the book.
yes. Are you starting that next? I saw you just
Yeah.
posted about Jaws: The Revenge.
Oh yeah, that's on
Yeah,
my queue as well.
yeah.
Thank you for that. Well, oh, the guy Greg that I tagged in that just did a YouTube show this week, and they Jaws Revenge came up, and his co-host or whatever was like, "Oh, if you haven't read that book, it's like that shit crazy. You got to read it. If anybody even has it." I was like, "Anybody has it? We got it."
We know this.
It is so great though. But yeah, I mean, so I read Aliens. What did I ask you? Are you going to watch the Aliens documentary?
The Aliens
Aliens Unleashed,
Expanded or
expanded.
Expanded, yes. So whenever that comes out, I was a supporter. So
Right. I know you were
yeah, and
connected.
I saw the original. How many hours was that original rough cut? 4 hours more? 6? I don't know. Felt like a lot.
Like, yeah,
And that was before they added Sigourney and James Cameron. So
yeah.
hopefully,
They
I don't want to.
crowbarred her in at the end.
Yeah, I don't want to. I don't want them to cut out anything because I thought it had just everything I ever wanted. So hopefully, I'd rather they just make it longer.
Yeah. Wouldn't we all just do it?
Well, of
So
course,
I'm excited to do that.
I
But
would much rather have a 9-hour documentary and a 2-hour film.
who wouldn't? Especially in today's day and age with streaming and everything,
Yeah,
it's too long isn't applicable. You know what I
yeah,
mean?
yeah, yeah.
You can watch whenever. That's why, like, when The Irishman came out, they're like, "Oh, it's too long. It's 3 hours. Hold on, while I binge 10 hours of Friends." And
Well,
you're like,
it's different,
it's different.
So,
It's different.
but yeah, so that documentary, obviously, I'll continue to look forward to, and
Yeah.
I wonder if they're going to time it because what it'll be 2026 will be the 40th
40th.
anniversary. Is
Oh, it
that
feels
am I
so
doing that
old.
right? Yeah. So, so that will be nice if they kind of. I wouldn't mind them taking some time to continue to take another couple of years to edit to
It
do
would be
that. So
nice.
maybe they'll come out with some more stompers or something. I don't know.
Oh, yeah. The
More
Robert
alien. We need
Stompers.
more alien stuff.
We do. We need more alien stuff. I always, maybe once a month, look at those stompers, and they always just go up in price. They're not going down.
Yeah.
Yeah, but they're amazing that you have them. I'm talking about the full high
The
tops,
the big the
the
Ripley's.
real one.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, yeah. And I have
yeah,
the Bishops, but
yeah.
I,
Right, you have
I just wear
both.
those on off days. So
Of
I
course.
don't think I'll wear them because I know Michael Bihn's going to be at the Hollywood show in a couple weeks. So
Yeah, I'm wearing my
we'll see.
Terminators that day.
Yeah, gotcha.
Yeah.
But he's always good. I think he's from Nebraska, or he lived here. I remember he talked
Oh,
about. So
really?
yeah,
Oh, wow. You guys are
he
probably related.
we are. How can you tell? Yeah,
Can you? Eddie's
safe.
going to be there
Yeah.
too.
Oh
Edward.
yeah, yeah, oh, yeah, yep. And then what else I was going to say? Oh, so now we're diverging off it too. But
Yeah. Sorry.
Paul Reiser, when I was thinking about aliens, so they
Yeah.
released a new Axel F
I
trailer.
saw.
So Paul Reiser shows up quite a bit more in this trailer. So, but I was
I
like,
saw
oh,
that.
I feel like they should retcon him as the something for aliens. I don't know, but
Yeah. Do something.
yeah,
That is
maybe
funny
yeah.
though.
Anyway, but I was like, he's still going.
Hey, he's still doing his thing.
Yeah.
He had that second lease with Stranger Things. Once that came out,
Oh yeah.
it was like, boom. Him and Metallica, they were like resurrected. Not
Uh,
that he needed resurrection,
yeah.
but
He was just waiting for another Beverly Hills Cop. It's like, come
he
on.
was
Yeah.
waiting. And Bronson Pinochet is in
Yeah, I think
uh,
they got and
the
Taggart
movie.
is back and poor Judge
Taggart.
Reinhold, and I don't think they
Kevin
got
Bacon saying, I
yeah,
almost envy you. How do
which
you do it?
Kevin Bacon keeps having these resurgences, because like he'll kind of
Yeah.
disappear and then he's in what Maxine and this, and so you know what I mean? It's like which
He
is
was
like
in Them, right? That like
yeah, yeah, and so it's
B
like
movie.
he kind of disappears and kind of comes back. I was like, well, good
Well,
for him. Yeah.
yeah, I like him. Hey,
Yeah.
he's a Philadelphia native. That's not why
Oh,
I
is he?
like him.
Okay, I did not know that.
But
So
yeah, he's originally from Philadelphia.
gotcha.
And I did rewatch. We'll bring this up on this weekend on Set-Jetter Saturdays, but the original Friday the 13th
Mm.
last night. I had that itch, and I feel like the next time we're on the East Coast and the stars line, we need to go to that Camp Nobi Scoby or whatever it's called,
Yep.
and the Set-Jetter needs to be there
I know.
because
They
you're so
have
much better than the shit out there.
I know. So yeah, Crystal Lake
No
tours. I'm on their
offense,
list and stuff like that. So I really just to make time to go out there and do that. So before it
it's fun.
completely goes
I
away.
wonder
So
what the culture's like there. I mean, they have to embrace everything.
I think for a while they didn't, and I think realized
Really?
the camp realized they could make money.
Yeah.
That,
Oh, that yeah, it's
and
always
so it's like
money.
yeah, and so I'm not quite sure Blairstown how they feel. I'm sure they're just used to people taking the same pictures and stuff like that, which I'm sure is kind of at some
Yeah.
point that when they show up to town, I'm sure the black shirts show up in town. They're like, oh, here they are again, taking pictures of it,
Right.
running through and cosplaying and what have you. But
Right.
it's all for the good. Hopefully
It is.
they stop at the diner and spend some money. That's all they can ask for.
And the diner I read is very embracing of fans. You know, they like love. Of course, they want you to buy a piece of pie, but why wouldn't you? You
Unlike the
know,
Jason Goes to Hell diner,
Joey's.
Joey's
There was a
diner slash car used car lot.
there was a post on the Friday the 13th Facebook group like a year ago, and it was like somebody was selling actual silverware or actual china or whatever from Friday the 13th. And people are like, was it in the movie or was it in there? It turned out it was like just in the basement of the place that was in the vicinity. But at that point, you're not selling anything special.
Like this could be the cup that Steve Christie drank from. All right,
Okay. All right.
At some point, I probably like, all right, I'll buy it just because
Yeah. Oh, it's
it's off.
you.
It's
What are you doing
authentic.
out
Yeah.
here?
What are you doing out in this mess?
What are you doing on this?
I know that
We
line
were,
very well because that
do
was in the
you?
opening scenes from Friday the 13th, the final chapter. So
Oh, right, right. We weren't doing anything. We're just messing around. All right.
but
Well, I think that'll be our show tonight. This
yeah,
is our first deep
deep
dive
deep
live.
dive live and May 23rd, such an important day in cinema history
It really is. It
throughout
really
the
is.
decades. Yeah.
And thank you, Robert, for bringing out your The Shining
Oh yeah.
memorabilia.
And now it'll go back into the box for
I bet you have people like neighborhood kids that come over and like, can we see your stuff? Because you have like a museum there.
I do. Yeah, nobody.
But they don't know. I'm sure you're not
Yeah, yeah,
advertising it.
yeah. I don't even know if we have neighborhood kids, but
Right? What are we, the
we
80s?
we just shut our door. It is
Can't blame
interesting
you.
because, and my sister sees it more because like when you have service people come down to kind of look at stuff, and they're like, "What?" They do think it's kind of a museum of so forth, and
For
they're
all
usually
intents and
they're
purposes, it
usually
is.
drawn to, yeah, because they're like they see the Chucky dolls. I think we're the first thing they see, and then once they realize, when they start looking that some of these are actual movie props, then they kind of get intrigued, and especially when they see the Elm Street doors, like, what is that, and
Yeah.
so forth. So
Like,
uh,
what is that? Of
yeah,
course.
and so
And
sometimes
whenever there's a garbage truck, you always say, "Garbage day."
garbage day. Well,
No,
that'll be an upcoming episode. I think would be good. Yeah,
that's
a
a
deep
great one.
dive live into Silent Nights, Deadly Nights. So
Please. Well, that'll be our show. Thank you, everybody, for watching, and we'll see you this Saturday on Set-Jetter Saturdays. All right. I think